kicked former President Donald Trump off the primary ballot. Democrat Sheena Bellows, pictured here with Joe Biden, look at her there, with President Joe Biden, is following Colorado's suit disqualifying Trump based on the insurrection clause. And guess what? She's a Democrat. Much like Colorado, Bellows' decision will likely be challenged in court. Speaking of which, in a stunning turn of events, Trump is back on the primary ballot in the state of Colorado. Secretary of State Jenna Griswold announcing this afternoon that she will certify primary ballots with Trump's name on them, unless the U.S. Supreme Court steps in.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. A founding father named Benjamin Franklin said, "Here is a democracy if you can keep it." And Democrats are intent not on keeping our democracy, but on murdering it in broad daylight. The top unelected elections official in Maine, tell me how that works, has now declared unilaterally that Donald Trump cannot stand for election in the state of Maine. Why? For a crime he has never been convicted of. Not even convicted, not even charged with. A made-up crime, ladies and gentlemen. The top election official in Maine, the Secretary of State, has decided by herself, without a court ruling, without a conviction, that Donald Trump makes her feel bad, and she doesn't like the color of his skin, which is orange, and she's decided that that's enough to keep him off the ballot. Well, let me start one by saying I'm no constitutional scholar, but I've read Article 2. And Article 2 doesn't say that the president is allowed to run if everyone likes him. And if cat ladies who are unelected, Marxists, sycophants, who are going to die alone by their cats, surrounded by bottles of Xanax, like him. That's not what the Constitution says. The Constitution says you got to be 35 years old. You got to be a natural-born American citizen. You have to have lived in America for the last 14 years. And then you can run for president. Period. That's it. In fact, the last people who took a presidential candidate off the ballot because they just didn't like him were Democrats in the South trying to defend slavery before the Civil War. That man's name was Abraham Lincoln. And 10 states ripped Abraham Lincoln off the ballot. He won anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are cruising towards that inflection point once again. The democracy lovers are back at it with their insufferable communism. Okay, Maine tries to dump Trump. Secretary of State rules Donald Trump is not eligible for election on ballot just hours after Colorado put him back on the 2024 primary ballot. Maine's Secretary of State, her name is Sheena Bellows, bellowed her decision on Thursday evening. Bellows ruled that Trump is not eligible to appear on the state ballot because he engaged in insurrection on January 6, 2021, violating the 14th Amendment, something that she, of course, doesn't have the right to impose or enforce. And again, this is a fake ruling, and we found that out by reading the actual ruling, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the actual ruling. So before you get all upset or anything, I would like for you to, of course, scroll all the way down to the, look at the screed. Look at this. Look at this massive 34-page op-ed in The Atlantic, seething and dripping with cortisol and dripping with estrogen and dripping with salty rage from the single, unelected, seething cat lady. At the very bottom here, I'm not going to read you any part other than this. We read these things and we read them for you so that you can be educated. And just like in Colorado, there is an escape hatch here. This ruling, once again, is given in order to get plaudits and pats on the back and hugs from all of the other salty libs on MSNBC and CNN. It's made in order to get headlines, but not actually do anything. It's fake. This is a fake ruling. Now, it doesn't mean it's not that much more disgusting and odious that they're trying to trick us and try and incite something. But ladies and gentlemen, here, let me read to you. Given the compressed time frame, the novel constitutional questions involved, the importance of the case, and the impending ballot preparation deadlines, I suspend the effect of my decision until the Supreme Court rules on any appeal, or at the time under the 2-1 Section A 337 has expired, meaning that she's suspending her own decision here. So, ladies and gentlemen, she's saying my decision doesn't matter. Here are 33 pages of mewling, bitching, seething, left-wing bathroom wall scribbling with a Sharpie. And it ends with her saying, this isn't real. Just like the Colorado ruling. This is why you got to read these things and not just believe the people who scream and yell. This, ladies and gentlemen, is your Secretary of State of Maine, Shenna Bellows. Here she is clasping hands with Joe Biden in a very rare non-sniffing photo. Joe Biden must have sniffed her hair. Actually, she's a little too old for him. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen, with her braces and everything, standing there with Joe Biden. Here she is with Barack Obama, standing there with the old big gums, grinning with the rosy cheeks of fascism. The rosy-cheeked fascistic look as they put you in the camp, as they wreck the thing that they claim that they protect. She did stand for elected office, by the way, in November of 2014, and she got her ever-loving ass kicked by 38 points. She got beat. She ran for Senate. She didn't win a single effing county in Maine. Did you know this? This is Shenna Bellows. Didn't win a single county. Maine Secretary of State is an unelected partisan Democrat hack appointed by the partisan Democrat legislature. When she was actually on the ballot, this is what happened. Team Trump has put out a statement here effectively saying, we will quickly file a legal objection to the state court and the atrocious decision from Maine taking effect, and President Trump will never stop fighting, meaning that the ruling is fake. Okay? Just like in Colorado. And we were proven right in Colorado. We've been proven right, ladies and gentlemen, because Donald Trump is back on the ballot in Colorado. Colorado Secretary of State says Trump back on the ballot unless Supreme Court rules that he should be disqualified. Yeah, get the F out of here. Not political. Let's go ahead and look at Shenna Bellows and some of the things that she has said in her past. Sometimes I wonder if the national obsession with Hillary is because people just can't deal with the magnitude of fears of what a Trump presidency will bring. Yeah, not political at all. Seething, salty, unelected, rabid, partisan, frothing at the mouth Marxist. Shenna Bellows, the Democrat Secretary of State in Maine, just unilaterally disqualified Trump from the GOP primary ballot. This is an outrageous abuse of power and an unconstitutional power grab. Bellows thinks that she should get to decide hundreds of thousands of people can vote for in Maine. First, 4 partisan Democrat hacks in Colorado did the same. Now a partisan Democrat hack in Maine. The Supreme Court must fix this immediately. Yeah, they need to stop this. They need to rule. The supremacy clause, of course, is what it's called when the Supreme Court rules on something and says, no, we have the supreme right to state what happens in federal elections because we are a federal body. You are a petulant, Marxist, will die alone, sad, miserable, angry, Xanax rattling around in the bottom of her purse, sycophant. And you deserve, of course, all of our ire. May God have mercy upon your soul. Maine Secretary of State Shenna Bellows has decided to add her name to the ignoble list of Democrat officials claiming to defend democracy and preventing the exercise of millions of voters. Here's the decision, says Jonathan Turley, one of my favorites. The woman who just took Trump off the ballot in Maine. It shouldn't be up to the governor or any other person whether or not you have the right to vote. We should be proud that Maine, every citizen has the right, regardless of current or former incarceration. It shouldn't be up to the governor or any other person whether or not you have the right to vote, says the person who literally just decided whether or not people have the right to vote. Incredible. These people they have no shame. States that have failed to remove Donald Trump from the ballot: Arizona, New Hampshire, Michigan, Minnesota, Rhode Island, Florida. Of course, the Michigan decision was just yesterday. And now Maine and Colorado pending the appeal. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kari Lake, straight out of the gate, throwing real punches, cracking jaws. Far left Secretary of State just took President Trump off the ballot. This is election interference. It's take a right. The American citizens choose the next president under attack. Democrats fear they can't beat Donald Trump, so they're depriving him of the right to vote. That is precisely and totally correct. And as we predicted, if you were paying attention to this channel, as we predicted, Donald Trump is back on the menu in Colorado. It was all fake. It was all meant in order to get a little golden star given to them by Klaus Schwab and George Soros and Barack Obama before they all get put in the pods and eat the bugs. Wesley Hunt, one of our favorite congressmen in the state of Texas. Since everyone is talking about civil war, let's talk about Maine, the most recent example of Democrats acting to remove a candidate from the ballot. The last time this happened, the Civil War. The last party who did it, the Democrats. The party doing it again, the Democrats. Donald Trump is the biggest threat to the matrix in American history. Nice Nice. Democrats are destroying democracy to protect it. The jokes write themselves. It is so unbelievably true. Vivek coming in hot, of course, as ever. This is what actual threat to democracy looks like. The system is hell-bent on taking this man out. The Constitution be damned. I stand by my prior pledge to withdraw from any state's ballot that ultimately removes Trump from its ballot. I call on DeSantis, Christie, and Haley to do the same. Why can't they do it? This cancer on American politics isn't limited to Democrats. True. True. This is why you see headlines like this across the internet. Democracy isn't dying in darkness. Democrats are murdering it in broad daylight. Let's check out more of her old tweets here, shall we? We need to come together around democracy, around voting rights, which is what fundamental to everything we care about, says Shenna Bellows, the person who is saying, if you were a Republican in my state, and there are millions of them, Trump won the state, by the way, Trump won the state of Maine, you are no longer allowed to vote for the guy who you want to vote for. I have decided who you can vote for. This is the woman who's barring residents of Maine from voting. It keeps getting worse. I mean, it keeps getting worse. You go through her old tweets. The fundamental right of any American citizen is to vote freely, fairly, and to have their vote counted. The premise of democracy. The premise of democracy. The Constitution and Bill of Rights are not values to be compromised anyway. What's incredible about these people are the lack of self-awareness and the inability to understand that them making these actions all but guarantees a Donald Trump landslide. It's the don't walk on the grass phenomenon. The more you tell someone, not only should they not vote for Donald Trump, we don't even want to make the argument anymore. We're just going to ban Donald Trump from the ballot. The more you do that, the more it makes like independents and normal people say, fuck you. I'm going to vote for Trump. I'll crawl through broken, flaming glass to vote for Donald Trump. I'll do anything in my power to vote for Donald Trump because you told me I can't. Don't walk on the grass. F you. I'll walk on the grass. That's exactly. They're going to get this. They're making Donald Trump the political prisoner. This is the Nelson Mandela effect. This is well documented throughout history. They tried to stop Nelson Mandela from running for office. For 30 years, they locked him in jail. And then as soon as he gets out of jail, he becomes president in the biggest landslide in South African presidential history. Now, you can argue the benefits or the values of what that party has done for South Africa, because South Africa's a mess right now, but it doesn't matter. The phenomenon is real. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. The more they do that, I say bring it on. The more they do these fake plaudits, these platitudes, this little like song and dance, the more it enrages regular Americans, and the more it makes people who were on the fence about Trump or not wanting to, they're like, wait a second. So this is why. Now we get it. This is why you did January 6th. This is why you kept saying insurrectionist. You had this all planned. This was all centrally organized. And now the dumbest, saddest, most miserable, most cretinous members of your party are left to shovel the rat bodies out of the sewer here and to like effectively destroy their careers in order to give warm feelings to guys like to this guy, because this guy's not actually in charge. Like, obviously. Ladies and gentlemen, we want Donald Trump back in charge. And more importantly, we want to just say F you to this entire rigged system. These people are showing us exactly who the real fascists are, and it's despicable. Shame upon them, and may God have mercy on their souls. Like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy, Benny. Stay based.